Okay, let's talk about adding negative numbers. You may want to take notes as you kind of look at this. Let's talk about adding negative numbers and look at it from a number line standpoint. If I have 1 plus a negative 2, when I add a negative, it's just like subtraction. So 1 plus negative 2 would put me at negative 1. And I'm really looking at the difference between negative 2 and 1. So if I went over to the left 2 spaces, to the left, I'm going to be at negative 1. Essentially what that's saying is that when I add a negative number, it's the same thing as subtraction, like you're used to subtracting. Adding a negative is the same as subtracting a positive. So it's really something you want to think about. It's kind of easy. So it's just like if I change that and I just had 1 minus 2, instead of 1 plus negative 2, I have 1 minus 2. I would still be going 2 to the left and I'd still end up at negative 1. So that's essentially the same as saying 1 plus negative 2. So 1 minus a positive 2 is equal to negative 1, and 1 plus a negative 2 is equal to negative 1. So essentially what that's saying is adding a negative is just like subtracting a positive. So let's get another example here. I have negative 1 plus negative 3. If I'm adding a negative, I'm going to go to the left 3 spaces, and I end up at negative 4. So essentially what that's saying, that's the same thing as negative 1 minus 3. So negative 1 plus a negative 3 is the same thing as negative 1 minus 3. You're both going to end up at negative 4. So essentially what that's giving us is that when you add a negative, it's the same thing as subtracting a positive. That's what you want to remember.